So Skip Bayless is back with the disrespect once again, right? We knew this wasn't a one-off with Shannon Sharpe, right? But T.O. had a basketball game, pickup basketball game, and somebody got mad after the game, right? I guess he was getting bust up, right? After the game, somebody hit T.O. with their car. And this is the response that Skip Bayless had to this action.
Can't imagine what T.O. had to drop on that man for him to come back and hit him with a car. He must have hit that man with some of that Osmosis Jones for him to say, I'm going to the parking lot and getting my car hitting this man. Sheesh.
All right, let's talk T.O. Terrell Owens was involved in an incident out in Calabasas here in Southern California, out where near Keyshawn lives. Something about an altercation during a pickup basketball game leading to an incident in the parking lot. Here we go again, Keyshawn. It's always something, it seems like, with T.O. Okay. I have done battle with T.O. on television many, many times, but he kind of can't get out of his own way because he was born with a chip on his shoulder, and he always thinks everybody's out to get him, and he's going to polarize because he's not going to give in to what's happening here. But T.O. never could get comfortable. I nicknamed him Team Obliterator from the start because I covered his 49er team, and they finally said more trouble than worth because he split and polarized that locker room. And he goes to Philadelphia, and he split and polarized the locker room. And he goes to Dallas, and he split and he polarized that locker room. He was into one battle after another with this player and that player and this player, and I heard all the stories about all the times that the player said, let's just do this right here, right now, and end it. I can tell you chapter and verse, and I've told T.O. to his face many times on television, this is why I said what I said. So he's got a lot going on for him, but he can't seem to embrace it and love the fact that he got to do what he did get to do.
Hey, yo. So, Keyshawn and Richard Sherman is the replacements for Shannon Sharpe, right? And we all watched when Shannon Sharpe was done so terribly as far as being disrespected by Skip Bayless, talking about his career compared to Tom Brady, and then talking about the situation that happened with the Buffalo player. I forget his name right now, but right. And you had to know, Keyshawn Johnson had to know, Richard Sherman had to know that this disrespect was going to show its ugly head at some point when they were on this show, whether it was towards them or towards whoever. And this is the point, as you can see clearly on their faces, that they're experiencing this. They're looking at him like, why would you have this take? Why would you take this angle on this? Keep in mind, T.O. just got hit by a car because he was out on the court shaking and baking somebody up, and they didn't have the mental fortitude to withstand that. They got into an argument, and then they jumped in the car and hit him with a car. And I'm just, how is it that from that, your take is, well, it was his fault he got hit by a car. He's always attracting this type of, right? And Skip is saying this just because T.O. was arrogant on the football field. Not because I can see it like in real life, he was always getting into street fights. You know what I'm saying? Getting fights at bars and stuff like that, right? Not the case. Would you have taken that same angle if it was Tom Brady? Well, Tom Brady should know better than to cross people up on the court like that. So if he hadn't been crossing people up like he did, then he wouldn't have been hit by a car. Would he say that self-talk said this about Lil Wayne? Would he say this about Lil Wayne, who he gusses about the song he made for him and all that? Wayne is notorious for talking trash on rap songs. So if he hadn't been as good as he had been talking trash on a rap song, then he wouldn't have got hit by a car after the shake and bake had taken place. It's crazy that he would think that this was the take to have on this. Like, whatever your problems you had with T.O. all these years for him being boastful, or his attitude being the way it was, he produced results on the football field. But you're still so mad at him that you would say, oh, it's his own fault that he somehow got himself into this to be hit by a car, right? And then furthermore, I'm wondering if Keyshawn and Richard Sherman said anything in rebuttal to this. I didn't hear the rest of the clip, right? But I'm wondering if they just sat silent and let this rock. Because if so, I gotta say I'm very disappointed. Like, for you to hear that take and then like let that ride, that's something that's just like, what are we talking about, man? Like, nobody thought to say, like, hey, man, he did get hit by a car. You telling me this is his fault? That somehow he stirred some stuff up, and then it was the guy jumping in his car and hitting him with the car. That was him. If they didn't say nothing in rebuttal to this, I'm very disappointed, and then it lets me know further that they've seen the place checking that Shannon Sharpe has gone through, and then they don't in turn want to feel the fire of being relinquished from their jobs due to speaking too much out of turn. Like Skip has a thing where he wants to let you know this is my show. Although he is as dry as a bread sandwich without the talent that he brings around. I just think he wants talent that is good enough to make people tune into the show, but not too much better than him, right? If you start pulling the Shannon Sharpe and just kind of excelling past him, then he gets a little anxious. Well, what's going on here? And then he starts throwing jabs and start, saying real disrespectful stuff. We saw how disrespectful it got when they were talking about Tom Brady. And Shannon said nothing more than Tom was having a bad game, a bad few games. And as great as he has been, that happens. Before you to state that and then have Skip to go into this whole rant of he was better than you and you jealous of him and all that. Like, what are you talking about, man? The disrespect was serious. The Damar Hamlin disrespect, just the jealousy of Skip I could see as Shannon was invited to hang out with, go to the games and watch LeBron play and be on court side and LeBron come show him some love. Skip never got that from Tom Brady. And he was very irritated by that fact. He said it on the show one day. He asked, well, how'd you get tickets to that game? And you're hugging LeBron on the, you know what I'm saying? You could just see it coming off him. Like, he just thinking like, well, Tom ain't never brought me to no game. Hugged me. Like, and those type of moments, it snowballs. It starts off as a little thing in Skip, and then it snowballs, and it turns into this big thing where he gets unbelievably disrespectful and goes to the length of pushing Shannon Sharpe out, get Shannon Sharpe fired from the show. Why? Because you're not as good as him? Because people gave him a nickname, call him Unc? He can't help that he's better. And look, Skip is good at his job too. He's great at his job as far as the stats and the, things like that. Getting prepared for the show, he's great. But when it comes to on camera, him talking about some stuff, he's terrible. He's terrible if you leave him by itself. If he's by himself, he's terrible. As dry as a bread sandwich. Sound like the nails on the chalkboard. It's just, nobody wants to watch it. So he needs the Shannon Sharpes, the Richard Shermans, the Michael Irvins, the Keyshawn. He needs somebody to bounce off of, but he just don't need them to be as talented. Too talented. Because then it seems that he gets threatened. But it is what it is, man. I've come to expect this from Skip. Sad as it is, it just, you come to expect. You know what I'm saying? You turn to T.O. I know, I get you don't like T.O., but T.O. has always been about numbers. He's had natural ability, and he's produced all throughout his career. And his numbers were Hall of Fame worthy, no matter what you thought about his locker room presence. And it's the same thing with your Kevin Durant, right? Kevin Durant is an astronomical player, but he's not the leader that you would like him to be. But it still can't disprove his numbers, what he comes and does every day. And so it is what it is, man. But expect Skip to keep getting more disrespectful, and it's probably going to turn towards y'all, Michael Irvin and Keyshawn and Richard. It's probably going to turn towards y'all sometime soon. So hope you prepared for the worst. It's your boy P. Camp. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.